Hello number ones, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and we have had a third, in fact, assassination attempt at President Trump. I'm gonna jump through X and a few news outlets, but the first thing I would like to say right off the bat, the assassination attempt of a sitting president within the United States is indeed an awful sign and a terrible symptom of a decaying society. Now we'll get to the reasons why this is happening, and it continues to happen later on this video. It has to do with propaganda and a certain rhetoric, but the one thing that I would like to begin with is the fact that indeed this is not acceptable, it should not be encouraged, and if you think it is acceptable, then you have been brainwashed by extreme propaganda and you should realign yourself and your priorities in life. Violence is not the way of a functioning constitutional republic and is indeed, to use a slightly different wording, a threat to democracy. Any yes but is a justification born from extreme propaganda and rhetoric. With that being said, the first question that we're going to ask is, did it actually happen? Because of course, as it's always the case, there are now a bunch of people who are saying, oh, it was staged. Do remember, for consistency's sake, they also claimed that the first two were staged. So I'm just going to say, if you, like Morgan J. Freeman, think that the assassination attempts, all of them, any of them, were staged, you're a clown. Moon landing level, flat earth level conspiracy theorist. This is not to say that an assassination attempt can never be staged or that it has never been done in history, but simply to say that the people who are claiming it was staged, are they doing it after a thorough forensic analysis done by professionals, looking at all the possible angles, looking at all the possible pieces of evidence that could point to the possibility of a highly organized hoax? Now, they say it 15 seconds after the situation happens, which categorically means that they are clowns. This is really as simple as that. No one prevents you to take whatever news is being pushed with a grain of salt and then look into research, ask experts. There's nothing wrong with that. But these people don't do that. They just scream staged the split second it happens, which tells you all you need to know. As of now, there is absolutely no reason to believe that this was staged in any way, shape or form. Let's continue. Exhibit B, Your Honor. The second type of diversion or mental manipulation that you will see is people trying to deny that the target of the assassin was indeed President Trump. And of course, one of the main proponents of this, but there are a lot of people that are trying to say this, is the un-American Ed Krasenstein. He says, was the shooter at the White House Correspondents' Dinner trying to kill the media whom Trump attacks on a daily basis? Now, obviously, we know that this guy is a liar. But unfortunately, this type of deflection or behavior, this altering of information and data in order to manipulate the perception of the masses, is constantly employed by all sorts of media outlets. Do remember that while they have removed it now, the CNN reporting of the first assassination attempt at President Trump during the Pennsylvania rally, they said he fell and hit his head. Just slipped. Just slipped. They may have removed it, but I've got footage. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. I want to make this clear 100%. I do encounter people modifying the truth constantly for political reasons. It annoys me profusely. Also, when people that I otherwise would agree with from a political perspective, or when it comes to social issues, economics and whatnot, end up doing the same thing. Let's just tell it how it is and allow the population to make their mind based on a real representation of the truth. What happened? This happened. What do you think about it? I think this, rather than we're going to feed you a lie that is going to suit our political interests more and it's going to shape your ideas on any world event in a way that benefits us, even though it's not based on the truth. I hate when people do this. Exhibit C. The third type of demonic hellspawns that we have seen screech on social media are the ones who are mocking Erica Kirk, because of course, mocking a widow? Absolutely, yeah. Why not? Am I right? And as you see, here is one that cuddled Co with almost 50,000 followers. Someone who, by what we read, supports the LGBTQ community. Oh, this must be someone all about tolerance and being nice to other people. And yet, he watches this. I just don't see how we can belong to the same species, by the way. Because he watches this and thinks it's funny. I watch it and my heart goes to her. We're not the same. Watch it.
I just want to go find
I think every normal human being is a woman who has already experienced her husband being shot dead, and now she's hearing shots fired at a convention, which is clearly going to replay all of the trauma that she has experienced in the last few months all over again in her head, and she's clearly upset, and she wants to just go home. How can you think you are one of the good guys, but you laugh at this? No, really, take a moment, think about the person you love the most in the entire world. Imagine if they were taken out by an assassin. Think all you would go through emotionally, and then put yourself in another situation where there is another shooting. You think it's fine to laugh about that? But here's the problem. People lack the ability to be empathetic towards others, to be compassionate towards others. Oh no, she is a bigot, so she deserves it, and I'm going to laugh at her. Well, you're a bad guy if you do that. Doesn't matter what you tell yourself. You're the bad guy. So this is the footage that we see the security point, although then again, man, you really need to... I think the security personnel has done a phenomenal job, and I'm grateful that they managed to avoid a tragedy. But I would like to say that if the sitting president, the vice president, and high-profile political leaders attend any conference, I mean, this isn't enough. The people are very professional. They did what they were supposed to do, and they stopped and neutralized the threat. But I think we need something more here. I think we need some kind of, in Italian banks, by the way, we have better processing than this when it comes to security and the multiple doors that you have to go through, which have metal detectors. I mean, that's what I think. I'm not saying put 3 tanks in front of the buildings, but anyways, this is the footage. So as you can see, there he is. That's the shooter running, and he passed right through. This guy takes out his firearm. So they try to approach the threat. And then he's out before he can actually take his shot, as far as I understand. I mean, he did shoot, because he shot one of the security personnel who, thank God, had a bulletproof vest, so that saved his life. But still, that's what happened. Now, what do we know? So this is him being apprehended. This is what we know, and this is a serious problem. So this person is a teacher. Guys, I think it's about time to admit an uncomfortable truth. The fact that in this country, we clearly have an activist teacher problem. Teacher in California, guys. Teacher in California. We can't tolerate this anymore. The teaching curriculum, we know, already needs to be addressed for some of the stuff that is pushed on the children. And when I say children, I mean it in the American sense. So I also include teenagers all the way up to high school. But at the same time, if a teacher is an activist, he should lose his job. Instead, activism is rewarded in school these days. And this is a danger. This is a danger. This guy is a danger, was a danger to the students, to the school personnel. How do we know that someone like this, who's clearly mentally challenged, like this guy's mentally ill, or politically brainwashed to a point of complete dehumanization, tomato, but someone like this could explode on a student because he has a MAGA hat at this point? Now, this is serious. And so whether it be someone like this, a school should always monitor not only the lesson. First and foremost, we need to review the kind of information that is presented. And if these teachers are pushing politics onto the children, they should be fired at once. But even if he was not doing that at school, which I mean, at this point in California, getting like Teacher of the Month probably was, and he was rewarded for it. But even if that weren't the case, since I don't have the data to actually confirm my supposition or postulation, what I would say is that what schools should do is monitor public social media presence of any teacher, whether it be TikTok, whether it be X, or whether it be Facebook. Monitor what they say. And if they appear to be extremely involved, they can have their own politics, that's fine. You can have your own political ideas. But if they see anything that could point to any form of extremism or radicalization, fired. We have to do this. Because this is not a coincidence, guys. It's the reason why it just so happened that the wannabe assassin was a teacher is not a coincidence. It's because we are taking from a bigger pool. There is a big pool when it comes to this. And this is a reality that is uncomfortable but needs to be addressed. Sorry, I had a burger in the meantime. Now, the problem is that this, of course, the teacher situation now reconnects once again with the misinformation campaign. Because clearly now, particularly with the aid of AI, what's happening is that advanced language models that, as far as I'm concerned, should stick to language, is that now we're getting already pictures that show him as a right-winger, as a left-winger, as a pro-Israel, as a free Palestine. It's left, it's right, it's center, it's this, it's MAGA, it's everywhere. And of course, you can't believe anything. What I could understand up to this point is that this guy's left and he hated Trump, which is obviously the most probable thing that would happen in a situation, in a scenario like that. Clearly, if there is a difference of information by the time the video is already up, I will tell you as a pinned comment to keep you informed to the truth, which is the only thing that matters. What's insane, however, is that even in the presence of the truth, once people are brainwashed into their political ideology, whichever it may be, they don't care about it. They see past through it. It's not about information and accuracy anymore. It's just about what can I do to win politically against my opponents. I mean, look at this Nikki person right here. Who's how many followers? 1,000, so not particularly relevant. But they say the fact that he drove a teacher, he being Trump, he drove a teacher of the year to assassination just tells you how shitty he is. He's hated by teachers. He has hated by everyone. You can't even speak. He is the passive tense. Goodness gracious. He is hated by everyone. He is the worst. This one didn't get any likes, but that depends on where you post. There are a lot, of course. It's clearly victim blaming. It doesn't matter. You can hate Trump or Vance or Biden or who the heck, whoever you want, and that's your legitimate take. But to get to the point where you feel the need to write something like this, it's either you're grifting for money, but you don't actually believe it. If that's the case, well, Nikki, you have failed, because your posts get no traction and you're making no money, you're probably not even monetized. At this point, if you want, I can give you lessons on grifting, as the successful grifter that I am. Or she actually does mean it, in which case, I don't want to share this planet with the likes of you. Unfortunately, I have to, so I'll make sure to be as far away as possible from people who think like you. No, doesn't matter who the sitting president is. I hate Kamala Harris. I don't want to see her shot. I don't want to see her shot. I hope she's okay. I hope she lives a long and happy life. That's it. It's really that simple. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. But the current media and the indoctrination and rhetoric is definitely making it so. I think we are at the point where political indoctrination is literally breaking the country in two. And I hate to see people who share citizenship that end up hating each other. We should unite against common enemies. That's the reality. But unfortunately, one of the main cores of political discourse is to create divide, because over the divide, the few rule. The dividing of the masses is the fuel of the governing few. Now, Exhibit 4 is going to be the usual stuff, so all the people that are going to say next time don't miss. And of course, I'm going to connect this to my very first statements that I said at the beginning of this video. It doesn't matter who the sitting president is, and it doesn't matter if he belongs to your side or not. If a Republican president or a Democrat president who was elected by the majority, the voice of the people, has an assassination attempt, 2 or 3, saying next time don't miss, means that you who values violence over public opinion and vote, and that makes you equal to the totalitarian regimes of the 20th century that have brought to pass some of the worst history that our planet has ever endured. You're just like them. You just don't realize it. Exhibit 5 is going to be the rhetoric that is causing this, because here's the thing. Let's listen to Hassan Piker's own words, shall we? This is from 2025.
And you actually wrote about this, and it was a great video where you talked about, someone has to do it. See, when I say that, everyone knows exactly what I mean. That which is, I think that shows that there is a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, and untapped potential, untapped revolutionary potential, as a matter of fact. And it's a great opportunity for organizing, I think, in these
I don't know how this guy gets away with it, honestly, because it's quite obvious what he's calling for, and as you see, it materializes. Also because someone like this has enormous reach, because social media platforms reward this kind of behavior, even though this should not, in my opinion, this is not protected speech, but I'm not a lawyer, so I might have a discussion with a lawyer. Someone like Legal Mindset, Andrew, would be nice to have him on the show as a guest to discuss how the heck he gets away with statements like this. But before we do that, massive announcement. Check this out. You're gonna love it. As many of you know, or at least I think you know, I've been writing a book, my new journey into becoming an author. I've mentioned this on a few videos and on X, but this book was indeed crowdfunded. Now, any person who has donated or will donate to the crowdfunding will receive a full audiobook, and this is crowdfunding exclusive. So, as a way to say thank you to the people that have donated and supported my dream of becoming an author, if you have a minimum of $5 donation, you will receive the entirety of the audio file of the book, recorded by me with my voice, no AI involved, as a crowdfunding exclusive reward. This applies retroactively, so for all 262 donors that I've had so far, you'll get this, and anyone who decides to donate $5 or more, thank you very much, never expected, always appreciated, then you will be guaranteed a audio file of the book by the end of the crowdfunding campaign. Important, once the crowdfunding campaign is over, this audiobook version will not be made for sale. So this is once again crowdfunding exclusive. It's a perk. If you're interested in the audiobook, click the link in the description, and thank you so much. If you are in a leadership position on the left, you need to call out this kind of rhetoric. It's not enough to say violence is never the answer. Right, but this rhetoric is pushing towards that violence. And so this needs to be addressed. And I, of course, would say the same thing to any Republican leadership. If there is someone who tries to assassinate a presidential candidate on the left, the right would have to unite in condemnation. It is necessary. It is necessary for a functioning constitutional republic. If you turn up the heat and then something like this happens, then condemning it makes you look double-faced. At least when it comes to the Democratic leadership, I have seen posts of people condemning it. Now, this is a good step, but it's not enough, because if you have a rhetoric that constantly justifies violence and paints your political opponents as literal Nazi, or pushes ideas like LGBTQ genocide, and which is not happening, and I hope it never happens, but I don't think it's ever going to happen anyways. It's just in your head. And I think that what the leadership should do on the left, for us to start believing that at least they mean it, is not only to call out all the people that are celebrating in a much stronger way, but also deal with this. With this, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching, and if you're interested, I'll put a link to similar videos, and you can click the card over here to be directed to a similar discussion on a related topic. Thank you for watching.